Wait a second. Why are you just casually attending the ceremony? Oh, Valerie, what do you mean? When you have a poor family, your status drops. Can you just leave a lady? The fiancé of my brother uttered dark words that were in stark contrast to her pure white wedding dress. For family? Status drop? What on earth is she talking about? While our family was struggling to comprehend the situation, she continued to spew out verbal abuse. Through her countless insults, I realized that our family was being thoroughly looked down upon. Anger welled up inside me at her baseless accusation, but only my father was laughing. Ha ha ha, it's a masterpiece. Dad? Now it's fine. Let's just go then. With my father's statement, the atmosphere in the room frozen. My name is Ingrid, and I'm 25 years old. I work as an ordinary office worker in a well-known company. Perhaps I should have chosen a different path, but I decided to attend a regular university and become a typical corporate employee. You see, my father is a doctor specializing in neurology. He is an exceptional physician who worked at a university hospital for several years before opening his own clinic. Nowadays, my father has retired from the front lines and devotes himself to research on the brain. The hospital he founded is being run by his trusted junior colleagues. I've been asked countless times by my friends who know my parents, "Why didn't you become a doctor?" But the responsibility of holding someone's life in my hands is too heavy for me. It's not that I don't have the desire to help others, but I lack the confidence to take on the honorable profession of a doctor myself. However, unlike me, my older brother Andres graduated from medical school. He is 2 years older than me and has always been an achiever. He got straight into the prestigious National University's medical faculty. He also has a fairly handsome face and seems to be popular with women. Good grades and good looks. Of course, I believe it's a result of his efforts, but paradoxically, those facts have warmed my brother. He became a very twisted person around a certain time. I first felt a sense of discomfort when I was in high school. After getting into medical school, my brother's womanizing way became more flamboyant and he stopped coming home. It seems like he attends university, but judging from his Instagram posts, he is always out with a different woman. This fact reaches my father, and one day a fight broke out. My father raised his voice toward my brother, who had returned home after a long time. "Hey, Andres, what on earth are you going to university for?" "What's up, Dad? I'm taking my courses seriously, and there's no problem, right?" "That's not the point. Being a doctor isn't just about having a good grades. It's about having the heart to empathize with patients." "Oh, come on, Dad. That stuff is boring. You know, nowadays, as long as you have the skill, you can become anything. Stop talking like some passionate teacher." "What? I'm just not good at that kind of things, you know. Don't interfere with your son's actions." During that time, my brother was openly rebellious toward our parents. At the same time, he had no qualms about insulting me, his younger sister. "You're inferior compared to me. Clumsy people like you will fail no matter where you go. You're lucky to have an outstanding brother like me." And so on and so forth. As if establishing his own position by looking down on me, my brother would shower me with verbal abuse every time he came home. But it was true that I had always felt inferior to my brother, so I couldn't say anything in return. However, my brother would face a war after graduating from college. Despite passing the national exam, there were no hospitals willing to hire him. It seemed that he had taken the exam at 2 prestigious university hospitals. However, The results were unsuccessful. The reason for his failure was the interviews. I heard from acquaintances of my father at both hospitals that my brother's remarks during the interviews were unbearable. Despite having little practical experience, he didn't have a condescending attitude toward others. He made statements about how he could contribute to the hospital's revenue if he were hired. Moreover, he mocked my father's modus of empathizing with patients. Upon learning all of this, my father said to my despondent brother, "Andre, work at our hospital." "Huh? Why me?" "You haven't found a hospital that will accept you yet, have you? Once you find one, you can go there. Until then, train at our hospital." Damn it! My father's words clearly irritated my brother. But to be frank, his anger was misplaced. After all, my father had actually taken him in when he had nowhere else to go. Whether as a father or as a doctor, I couldn't discern my father's true feeling. Either way, I believe he wanted my brother to become a doctor who could empathize with patients. However, my brother never responded to our father's feeling. Even now, working at our father's hospital, he continued to receive complaints from patients. Yet, my brother remains unchanged, always acting like a king in the hospital. He probably boasts about being the son of a former director and spread rumors that he will be the next director. When will my father's true feeling reach him? One day, while I was filled with such anxieties, my brother brought a woman home. "Mom, Dad, this is my fiancée." Both my parents and I were frozen in surprise by this sudden visit. "Nice to meet you all." As she greeted us, she had a neat appearance, but there was something unsettling about her. I felt uncomfortable with her smirk as she observed our family. Who is this person? It felt weird meeting her for the first time. I hope it's just my imagination. Is she going to become my sister-in-law? Despite my indescribable feeling, my brother's marriage proposal continued to progress. Although my brother had been living alone at the time, he started visiting home regularly after the engagement was announced. However, it was not to spend time with the family. My brother would show up at our parents' house and demand money from them. Just the other day, he asked my father to cover the wedding expenses. In response, my father said with a serious expression, "Andres, I honestly feel happy about your marriage, but if you're going to get married and start a family, I want you to properly attend to your patients as well." Again with that, "I'm attending to them though." "Then why do you keep receiving complaints to your patients? I heard from the current director that several patients have requested a different doctor. They probably just didn't like my diagnosis. They should all just shut up and listen. I'm telling you that your attitude is the problem. Your actions are causing trouble for the entire hospital. Realize that." "Fine, I get it. I should empathize with the patients, right? In that case, cover the wedding expenses. I want to make it a good ceremony for Valerie too." My mother and I were momentarily shaken by my brother's words expressing his love for his fiancée. After a brief silence, my father quietly spoke up. "I understand, but in return, I want you to lead a responsible life as a doctor and as a husband." "Yes, I get it. I've become the kind of doctor that meets your expectations." "That's good to hear. As promised, I'll cover the wedding expenses. Thanks, I'll send you the estimate later." A few days later, I received the estimate, and it was a staggering $60,000 for the wedding. Seeing the high cost, I immediately questioned my father. "Wait, Dad, are you really going to pay such a high amount for the wedding?" A wedding is a once-in-a-lifetime event. Besides, when he said he wants to make it a good ceremony for his partner, it struck a chord with me. Dad, I think you are just being deceived by my brother. No, don't say that. He is reflecting on his actions in his own way. Reflecting? My brother? That's hard to believe. Don't worry. When it's Ingrid's wedding, Dad will cover the expenses, right? That's not the issue. But well, if you are okay with it, then so am I. Although I had concerns about my brother's attitude, I wasn't the one paying the money. If my father believed in my brother, that was all that mattered. I decided not to interfere any further. However, the anxiety didn't disappear, then continued to plague me. On a day off, while I was out shopping in town after a long time, I encountered my brother and his fiancée Valerie. As soon as our eyes met, they approached me with a smirk on their faces. Hey, Ingrid, long time no see. Big brother, you are coming to the wedding too, right? It's next month. Yes, we're family after all. Seriously, it's gonna be a lavish ceremony. Look forward to it. Oh, and make sure you prepare a proper monetary gift, alright? Despite thinking about money at this point, I muttered, I'll prepare it. However, before my brother could respond, Larry spoke up. Ingrid, do you know how much it is customary to give as a monetary gift? Well, yes, I looked it up just in case. Look, about that, please don't give less than $3,000. Huh? I mean, you're siblings, so the least you can give is $3,000. It's common sense, you know? Common sense? I had never heard of such common sense before. When I checked online, the average monetary gift for siblings was around $500 to $700. Even so, I had planned to give $1,000, thinking it would be troublesome if I was told otherwise. But now she was demanding an amount far beyond that. Is it normal to ask for such a large monetary gift from your brother's sister-in-law? This person is just as lacking in common sense as my brother. Frankly speaking, Larry's words disgusted me. It reminded me of that unpleasant feeling when we first met at home. My intuition was right, and I realized that I would be dealing with an extraordinary person as my sister-in-law. When I discreetly consulted my parents at home, they both agreed that $1,000 was sufficient. It would be troublesome to be criticized later, but I decided to firmly give $1,000. 1 month later, on the day of the wedding ceremony, I wore an unfamiliar green party dress and headed to the venue. To be honest, I didn't really like my brother or his wife. But as I stepped into this space filled with a celebratory atmosphere, those feelings were momentarily forgotten. The venue was adorned with splendid decorations, and there was delicious food. The ceremony itself was quite luxurious, and time flew by in an instant. Next was the star of the photo section. The bride and groom would go around each table taking pictures. Larry, my brother's wife, came to our family table wearing a disdainful smile and said, Hold on a second. What's with you casually attending as if it's normal? Sister-in-law, having a full family lowers one's status, you know. Can you just leave already? At the moment, an emotion I had never felt before welled up inside me. What did she just say? A poor family? Us? Unforgivable. How can she casually say something like that about her own spouse's family? Her words left not only me but also my parents speechless. Beside them, my brother chuckled, and I demanded an explanation. Hey brother, what's going on? Why would Valerie say something like that? Why? Isn't it the truth? Unlike me, who belong to the winning side, you guys are losers. As the future head of the hospital, I've already won in life. My brother held his belly and laughed uproariously on the spot. I couldn't comprehend how he could say such a thing with such audacity. We're the losers? What on earth is he talking about? It's all thanks to our father that my brother is able to work right now. In the silence that enveloped our family, Valerie spoke in a loud voice that could be heard by everyone around. You guys, how long are you going to keep sucking up to Andres? Isn't it embarrassing for parents to pamper their son like that? What are you talking about, sister-in-law? You two, I don't know where you work, but I bet it's some low-end company, right? I just checked it, and the wedding gift envelope only had $1,000 in it. Well, parents are the same, aren't they? They're trying to get their hands on the money just because their son is talented and the future head of the hospital. That's why I can't understand the poor families like yours. Future head of the hospital? Exactly. Andres has been bought by the current hospital director where he works, and it's already decided that he will be the next head. With her nose held high, my sister-in-law spouted such nonsense. By her side, my brother also looked at us with a triumphant expression. It seems that my brother had explained to Valerie that our family was a poor and hopeless bunch. Father is a day laborer, mother works part-time, and as for me, I'm an unknown temp worker at some company. As for my brother, he had been boasting to his hospital colleague that he had a close relationship with the director and that he was the future head. The current director seemed to be completely unaware of such matters and was extremely surprised to hear this right now. As the venue started to buzz with the whisper, my brother and Valerie simply smirked with an unpleasant grin. Father suddenly burst into laughter, his voice echoing throughout the venue. Ha 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 ha, this is a masterpiece. Dad? Now, it's all good. Let's go then. Huh? Go where? We've been told to leave. We're not welcome here because we're a full family. But upon hearing the conversation between father and me, my brother and his wife chimed in. Just leave already. They tried to drive us out. Then father slowly turned toward my brother and spoke. Hey, I don't know why you had to tell such lies, but keep your boasting in check. Huh? What are you talking about? I'm not boasting. Is this so? Well, then, as the future head of the hospital, you should be able to find another place to work, right? Saying that, father called over the current hospital director who was present at the venue and whispered something to him. Confirming the director's nod, father delivered his final words to my brother. You're fired as of today. Find another place that will hire you. Wait a minute. Dad, what are you saying out of the blue? Aren't you the future head of the hospital? If you have such power, you should be able to work anywhere, right? Or maybe you lack competence. Well, I guess being the future head is just your empty talk, huh? Upon hearing father's words, my brother clenched his lower lips and looked down. Valerie, who had been listening to their conversation, grabbed my brother's arms with a tense expression. Hey, Andres, what's going on? How can your father just fire you? Are you listening, Andres? You were supposed to be the future head of the hospital, right? You are supposed to take care of everything, include this ceremony and our future life. Come on, Andres, say something. Valerie shook my brother's shoulder, but he was already in a daze. Father smiled gently at Valerie, who couldn't comprehend the situation. Buddy, let me explain. The hospital where Andres works, I was originally the director there. Huh? But I thought you were just working part-time. It's all Andres' lie. I'm a doctor, and my wife is a homemaker. Ingrid works as an office clerk at a leading company in the industry. A lie? What do you mean? Then we're not poor at all? On the contrary, we actually hired Andres, who failed in his job search in the hospital field. Of course, I never intended to make him the director. With this incident, I'm certain that my judgment was wrong. I can finally fire my son. So that means I'm going to dismiss Andres, and I won't pay a single dollar of this $60,000 for the wedding. That's ignoring the pale-faced Valerie. Father spoke to my mother and me. Shall we go? We nodded firmly and started walking toward the exit. Meanwhile, only Valerie's anguished cry echoed through the venue. It seems the ceremony was subsequently cancelled, as the guests who had witnessed the entire exchange began leaving one by one. After collecting the mandatory gifts, the wedding expenses not only didn't get covered, but went into a completely deficit. It seems Valerie had quit her job with the intention of becoming the future hospital director's wife, leaving both her and her husband unemployed. Even after using up all their savings, they couldn't afford the $60,000 wedding fee and ended up in debt. Now, they both work multiple part-time jobs and are searching for full-time employment. Despite being a doctor, it's unlikely that my brother will find a decent hospital to employ him with his current condition. As for our family, we never talk about my brother since then. My parents no longer worry about him and live with a smile on their faces every day. Even if you're intelligent, if you can't understand others' feelings, you earn success in any field. I believe that the ability to interact with people is more important than how much you can study. Like my father's motto of being a person who can empathize with others, I'll strive to become one from now on.